Okay, all right. Hi, this is Nicole Whitlock. I think we are recording. I'm getting used to this tool, so I apologize if it is taking a minute for everything to come together. But in any case, this is the eCom Sellers Mastery Road to 10K Session 2. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers, and we are so glad that you're here. So we thank you for your grace and mercy as we adjust to this new tool. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start the class. So this is session 2 of eCom Sellers Mastery Road to 10K. And we're excited about this session. This helps us to continue to move forward in our journey to getting to our goal numbers, whatever those goal numbers are on eBay. All right, so I am your host. I have been selling online since 2014, offline since 2008. And I am excited to be able to share with you. I currently still sell on eBay. I have, at this point in my life, I do have VAs who help me with my listings. They always pop up throughout the day. They're in India that helps me with my listings. So, but I'm in there every day with checking on seeing what's happening in my account and how things are going. So I hope that I can be a blessing to you on your e-commerce journey. So today's class, last week we covered um, class overview. We covered mindset, building a real schedule and like tweaking it, creating your account, some sourcing, creating a listing. We talked about listing yours, not piggybacking. That's more of an Amazon thing, but you can piggyback off of eBay. It's just a different way to do it. We also talked about order fulfillment. And so those are the things that we covered in last week's class. This week's class will be covering, or today, we'll be covering tracking your numbers and maximizing your profits. We'll be talking about how you can figure out what's selling and what's not, and looking at some of your sales history, the reports. We did cover some of the reports in class 1. We're going to talk about hazmat and restricted categories and restricted or prohibited products. We will talk about customer service. We're going to talk about Keepa, optimizing your listings, keyword research using Pingler and Ping Farm. And as we go throughout this exercise, we are going to be assigning tasks or activities for you to do. So with that being said, status update. Did you access the membership site? This is the eCom Sellers Mastery membership site. If not, you can go to ecomsellersmastery.com. In the upper right-hand corner is a button that says membership login. You click on that. You put in your new username and password. If you don't know what your username and password is, there should have been a thank you email that you received to participate in this class, so you can go back to that if you did not create your membership account. But if you did, just log in and you'll be able to access the membership site. This will be under the eBay section, so you'll be able to come back and look at that. The other thing, last week we asked you to complete your 90-day schedule. Did you create one? You could just create for a schedule for the next 60 days if you feel like the 90 days is overwhelming. Sometimes, depending on the time of the year, you may not know what's going on in 90 days, but you might have a better idea what's happening for the next 2 months. Did you create your account? Hopefully you had a chance to create your eBay account. We gave you some suggestions and guidance on that last week. Did you create your accounting or tracking email account? So that is for where you're going to forward your emails and receipts. Again, all discussed in session 1. And then did you create a listing or did you do any sourcing this past week? I hope you did. Hope you created your first listing. Hope you did some sourcing, so that way you have, you're well on your way to getting to whatever your goal numbers are for your business. And did you have any sales or make any money? If you're new to eBay, if you were consistent about your listing, then you may have, gotten some looks on some of your listings. You may have some people that are interested in. You may have gotten some bid offers, depending on how you created the listing. And then what questions do you have? So if you ever have any questions, you can always email ecomsellersmastery@gmail.com. I have a VA and myself. We check that email account multiple times a week. And so we want to be able to answer your questions as we go along. So today is around creating or establishing your targets, your goals for your business. And so you should have targets or goals that you're working to achieve. And my challenge to you is always to go after the stretch goals, but it's going to require your consistency. eBay is a platform that likes consistent new listings or consistent activity every single day. So logging into the account and looking around is not going to help you. What you're going to need to do is make sure you're creating new listings every single day, putting up a new listing, tweaking an existing or reworking an existing listing, refreshing old listings that have expired, whatever the case may be. Do that. Maybe putting some of your listings on sale, taking advantage of eBay promotions. You decide what you want to do. But eBay loves regular listing activity. If you get regular listing activity, then you're going to start to get more consistent sales. Now, there's a few things you got to do to make sure that you are able to get those consistent sales. And that's going to be, making sure your listings look good, have good titles, great images. Images do matter on eBay. So all of those things are going to matter in helping you to get more traction and get more sales. The other thing is, like, you might consider over time expanding your shipping policy to include the global shipping policy. That gives you the opportunity to sell your products internationally, not just in the US. And that can also help you to get more sales as well. So in session 1, we talked about, tracking your numbers and knowing where you are in this journey. Some of your inventory that you may sell on eBay, there are strategies that you can use to get it for dirt cheap. And then some of your inventory, you probably spent money, lots of money, acquire that inventory, ordering it from suppliers, getting it off of AliExpress, maybe ordering it from other eBay sellers, depending on how you did your search, because there's a lot of great bulk inventory that's on eBay that you can acquire. Cross-listing from other platforms. Now, I'm not going to suggest, drop shipping from one platform to another on eBay without having an established account and making sure it's under your brand. So working with a drop ship supplier is one thing. Having an established account with a dropship supplier is one thing. But cross-listing just for the sake of it, taking something from Amazon and putting it on eBay, I'm not going to suggest that at all to fulfill directly from Amazon. I'm going to suggest that you find out who the wholesale supplier is and establish an account there. But in any case, and then tell them that you want to drop ship the product so that they can put your company name on it. But in any case, what are your goal numbers? And if you're looking to get to 10,000, that number is definitely going to be more than any of the numbers that's on the screen. So I want to encourage you, the first 90 days of your journey, maybe the first 60, but the first 90 days, go through and just work to hit $10,000 in 90 days. That's going to require consistent activity and consistent action on your part. That's going to require you to go back to that schedule that you built so that you'll be able to sustain consistent activity and consistent action in your business. If not, then you're going to have some challenges. The other thing is looking at, did you establish a sourcing strategy? Did you establish a listing strategy? Listing on eBay for some people can take a long time, and for others, they're able to burn through it a little faster. There are listing tools, but I don't recommend them until you are into profit. So as you continue this journey, are there things that you can do to tweak in your things that you can tweak in your daily activities that are going to help you to get to your goal numbers? But you do need to make sure you're paying attention to what those numbers are. So if your average profit margin is 20% or 30% or even 40%, then of course your sales are going to be above 6,000 or 10,000. Your sales are going to be much higher. So give you an example, your sales might be in 40,000 to get to some of the other numbers. When you take 40,000 times 20 or 30 or 40%, you're going to ultimately get the number that you need to be making, the number that you need, what your number is going to be in profit based on that $40,000. So let me, I'm going to escape for just a second because I'm a numbers nerd. I just am. It is what it is. So if, let me clear all of this. Okay, okay. I need to clear from memory. There. All right. It's not clearing. I don't care. Okay, so there we go. All right. So let's say you're at $40,000 in sales. If I take my $40,000 in sales times 20% of that, profit is $8,000. So again, you do need to know what your profit percentage is that you're averaging. Some products you're going to sell and the profit is going to be like 100%. Others you're going to sell, the profit is going to be 50%. So I love it when I can sell products where I can get 100% of the money I invested back in out of it. And, so those are always great. But the reality is there's going to be some products where there's going to be 20% and 30% and 40%. So if we take that $40,000, we take that times the 10,000, sorry, take that times 30%. And 30% is my return on investment or my profit margin. That means that I can potentially expect to make, $12,000 a month in profit, but I got to sell $40,000 in product. Now you can choose to sell this. There are a couple different strategies you can take. One, consistent listing. Okay, consistent listing can help you for sure. So consistently listing products every single day, making sure that the profit margins on those particular products, depending on how you sell them, where you source them from, that there is a profit margin that is achievable for you. So selling products that maybe are $200, $300 over time, it might get a little weird with eBay. So you want to make sure that you have the receipts, and also what they call the chain of custody, how this product was acquired. There's currently a story, or based on today, a story of an awesome eBay seller who had his account shut down because he wasn't able to prove without a shadow of a doubt the chain of custody. And a famous movie star friend who had a lot of high-end tennis shoes that they received for different reasons because they are a sports fanatic. And so they had a bunch of tennis shoes. And he listed those tennis shoes on eBay. And eBay over time shut his account down because he couldn't prove how he could prove how he came to acquire the tennis shoes, but he couldn't prove the original origin of how those tennis shoes were acquired. The sad reality is that, in this scenario, the person who had the tennis shoes, the movie star, that person, got them for different gigs, just for modeling the shoes. They were like special edition. There was only one pair ever made. And so again, the only other person that would know that would be the manufacturer, the company itself that produced them. And so he didn't have those receipts to show. And these shoes were not listed as not for sale. But my point is, make sure that if you're going to sell high-end products, to be able to get to that $40,000, that you know exactly, and you have invoices and receipts. Sometimes receipts are not enough, but you have enough information and background on where these products came from. So for some eBay sellers, the strategy is to stick with volume and low-cost products. They sell products that are between $20 and $50 or $20 and $75. And that keeps them in a sweet spot. That keeps them away from eBay, flagging their account for suspicious activity. And so if you sell products that are between $20 and $50 or $20 and $75, then if you take that number and to find out the average ROI, it's going to look a little different. And that means you're going to have to sell a lot of volume. So you need to be prepared for that mentally, that either you're going to sell high-end products. You can sell high-end products that are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, or you can sell products that are lower cost, but you can sell more of. I will tell you that high cost products on eBay, those are going to take a little bit longer to sell, but it's a nice reward when it happens. It's going to take a little bit longer to sell, but it's a nice reward. Whereas products that have a uh, a low cost, and we're saying low is subjective, so between 20 to 40 or 20 to $50, because it depends on who you're selling to as to whether or not they feel like that's low. Then you have a better chance of selling more of those because the cost is in a sweet spot that people are willing to purchase the item for. So I'm going to take a $75,000 item and take that times 30%. And so on that particular product, your profit will be $22.50. So $22.50, how much of that do I have to sell to get to 40,000? Probably quite a bit. Probably quite a bit. So let me clear this and I'll tell you, it's going to be quite a bit. It's a few thousand. And that's a few thousand every single week. So I want to set realistic goals and I want you to be realistic. So 1,777 every single week. Now, if you got a hot product, that's going to be maybe easy depending on who you acquired the product from, who's your supplier, your source. If you don't have a hot product and you're just sourcing based on different strategies, and we're going to talk about some sourcing strategies, but one of them might be holiday, seasonal, trendy, popular now. If you go after that, then you're always going to be finding or sourcing or listing products that are going to be in the stream of money, the stream of selling. So an example of that would be all of the summer blockbusters that come out. If you create product bundles for those, if you create product bundles for those summer blockbusters, there's a high probability that your product bundles are going to sell because of the blockbusters. They're going to sell even beyond after the blockbuster is over, because then there's going to be an opportunity when it comes to back to school. The kids may want the backpacks, the tennis shoes, the socks, the pencils, the notebooks, the lunch pail, the laptop cover, the phone cover, the hat, all of those things. Again, whatever that summer blockbuster was or is, kids are going to want that stuff. Same thing for Halloween. They may want those costumes for that summer blockbuster. And then for Christmas, you have the opportunity to sell Christmas gifts, figurines, whatever, for that summer blockbuster. So you get to ride that wave for an extended period of time. And those are things that are moving very quickly. It's a great opportunity. So that can help you to get to those numbers. So I want you to look at your strategy and what you're planning on doing on eBay to get to those goal numbers. Are you going to try and sell something in a certain price range? And if so, you need to know how much volume you have to sell of that particular item to get to your goal number. Are you going to sell products like liquidation products? Are awesome products to sell on eBay, but you also don't have the chain of custody on those particular products when you buy them in liquidations or auctions. You just don't. And so again, that could impact your ability to have sales long term. Is it going to happen to every eBay seller? No, but every once in a while when eBay sees a bunch of sales come through and they feel like they're somewhat suspicious, then that's when you're potentially going to run into those challenges. So I just want you to be mindful of that. Think about where you're sourcing from and how you're sourcing. Now, is eBay the only platform in which you can sell on? No. You can sell on other platforms as well. So think about the strategy and approach that you're going to take to be able to get to your goal numbers. And what is your current weekly number going to be based on which one of them you decided to select? Are you going to choose the class goal, or are you going to choose the stretch goal? A lot of people want to go after the stretch goal from the beginning, from the jump. And I'm like, no. First, you got to get disciplined and creating listings, disciplined and sourcing, disciplined and shipping your products to your customer, disciplined in all of that. Once you get disciplined, then you can move from the class goal to the stretch goal and start working towards, getting more strategic about what you source, where you source it from, when is it coming in, and all the other things that you need to do to help you to be profitable and to be able to take home that daily profit in your business. So remember, eBay likes the algorithm, loves daily listings. It does, it does, it does. So as I look at these numbers, this is where I was talking about you're going to have to pass volume. You have to sell volume. So to get to these daily goals, so in 90 days, I have to sell my profit every single day. In 90 days, my profit every day has to be $66.67. So if I'm going to get to 6,000, now of course we're going to 10,000, but if I go to 6,000, that's 60. That is 6,000 in 90 days, not 6,000 in 30 days. Okay. So in order for me to get there, there's many different ways I can slice them. I can go after 75 sales with 81-cent profit. I can go after 5 sales with a $13.33 profit. I can go and get 35 sales every single day for $1.90. So if you feel like you're going to be struggling with getting this started, maybe you start with some of the higher cost products. Now you have to have investment money, higher cost products to be able to get the higher ROI, depending on how you source them. Okay. So you could get high cost products that you source for dirt cheap. And those are always nice when you get that. But again, having some money set aside. Now, how much money do you need to set aside to get started on eBay and selling high cost or medium cost products? You know, you can get started with $0. Let's just be serious and honest about that. You can get started with $0. Um, you can sell stuff from your garage, you can sell stuff from your attic, your basement, and list all those things to clear out your house and declutter. You could also take on the task of collecting items from your friends and your neighbors and your family members and selling their items on eBay for a profit as well. So in the beginning, you didn't invest any money. You didn't have to spend any money. You just gave up a lot of time to be able to put those listings up. So you're sacrificing time. Okay. Once you get to a place where your profits are coming in nicely, then you can transition potentially to a new model. You maybe have some money now that you can use listing software. You maybe have some money now that you can hire a VA to do that data entry for you. Just make sure you're still getting a profit on the back end. So I would encourage you, figure out what you're doing for the next 90 days and do that for 90 days uninterrupted, staying focused, staying consistent, so you can see if this is sustainable for you. So create that baseline schedule that we talked about in session 1 so that way you can do that. So this one's pretty straightforward. There's nothing complicated here. This is how much you have to make every single day in sales in order to get to that $6,000 number. And again, for $10,000, hold on. I know it's a much bigger number. Oops. Calculator. So if I go to $10,000 divided by 90, so I have to have $111.11 every single day. You might as well just round it up to 100. Either round it down to $111 in sales every single day, or round it up to 112. One or the other. And this could be sales, or you can go after profit numbers. Your profit numbers, your sales, your daily sales are going to be higher than that. So determine your average ROI first, and then go from there. That's for 90 days. So we're going to come back to this. Now we're going to go to the stretch goal. So if my goal is to get to $10,000 in a month, what do I got to be doing every single day? Okay. How much do I need to be selling every single day? Okay. There we go. I can't see it. I think it's like 333. There we go. $333.33. You can round that up to 334. You can round it down to 333. But in any case, you have to have $300 in daily sales. That's just getting to your sales number if that's your goal. If your goal is to get to your profit number, then your sales number is going to be much higher than that. Your sales number is probably going to be around 30,000, even 28,000, so that you can make $10,000 in profit, depending on what your average return is. So if your average return is trying to get to, let's see, we're going to $10,000. Your average return, it might be around $28,000, I think. If your ROI is around 30%, I think it's around 28,000. I'm pretty close. That's my guess. Let's just see if I'm right. Just going to do this on a calculator. Times 30%, 84. So 34,000, probably. So now you know what your sales are. If your average ROI is, if your average sales is 34,000, then and your average profit is 30%, then you know what number you're working towards. So you need to always have those numbers in mind. How much do I have to have in sales in order to have this level of a profit? And if you have products where you have an amazing profit margin, oh my gosh, I love that. So let's see, times 30%. Yeah. So 34,000 or just under 34,000. You'll get to $10,000 a month in profit if you have a 30% profit margin. So you know what your number is. What I want you to do today is I need you to write down what your targets are. Are you going to make a concerted effort to potentially sell products that are between the $20 and $50 to $75 range, and maybe have a 30% ROI or 40% ROI? Write down your ROI first, your average ROI. Go back and look at your sales for the last 3 months, maybe even the last 6 months, and figure out what that average ROI is. And then your average, profit margin is. Then after you figure out that, then we can work on what are our sales numbers that we need to target. And then that will help us back into our profit numbers. So go look at your data first. And if you are new to this journey, start with 30%. I'm just going to start with that. Okay. If you're new to this journey, because it's entirely possible to find products with a minimum of 30%. There's going to be times you're going to find products that are at 50%, but that's your action item, is to go ahead, figure out what your ROI is going to be. Once you figure out your ROI, then go and figure out what is the daily activity I have to engage in. How much do I have to list every single day in order to get to that goal? So, you may need to put up every day, maybe like 100 new listings once you get to a certain number. You do want to get to a place on eBay by the number of items that you list every day is getting close to the number of sales. That's going to be a sweet spot, because then your inventory volume never goes up. You just keep listing and you keep selling every single day, so that if you list 10 items today, you sell 10 items today. If you list 50 items today, you sell 50 items today. It becomes its own cycle over time, but it requires consistency to get there. Okay. So write down those things in your notepad so we can come back to them later on. So created a spreadsheet for you to be able to track your eBay and Amazon numbers. Show me the money. And you'll be able to access this in the eCom Sellers Mastery back office. Should be under the eBay resources, I think is what it's called. So you'll be able to access it there and see them there. So sales rank is a couple of different ways in which I try to find items that are definitely moving. That should be your goal, to look for items that are moving. And we're not trying to jump on the trend after the trend is over. We're trying to get ahead of the trend. So that means you're paying attention to it daily. One of the best tools to do that is watch count for eBay. You can use watch count to go out there and see what's selling or what has been selling, and that will help you along your journey as well. You can also, if you're looking at products, so let's say you're looking at watches or comic books or socks or jackets or whatever, you can type in whatever that is, especially if it's something that is going to be like part of the summer blockbuster. So maybe lunch pails. This particular summer, I think Thor, God of Love and Thunder, is coming out. And so that's going to be a hot item. And that means some of the characters that are in there are going to be figurines. There's going to be all kinds of toys, maybe some quotes for some print on demand people. There's going to be a variety of different opportunities there. And so you can go and check to see if any of those items have sold. If you know exactly what it is, you can sort on your eBay listings, your search tool. You can sort by sold for that particular item and see how many sales there are and when those sales occurred. So if you have a product that when you do that research, and let's say it's a Zeus figurine, and you go do the research for Zeus figurine on eBay, and you discover, so you click on sold, you find the figurine first, and then you go, okay, I want to sort by sold. You go to sold, and you can see that this item is selling at least 30 a day. So if that's the case, if it's selling 30 a day, oh my gosh, that's good for you. Maybe depends on how many others are selling it, but 30 a day is a nice number. So going to go look at what's sold is one way to see what's happening using watch count. I also use Amazon bestsellers. So I Google Amazon bestsellers, and I also Google Walmart top selling. Why do I do that? I do that because I want to have the opportunity to be able to always be sourcing or finding profitable products that are always moving. So once I look at the Amazon bestsellers, if I'm focused on a specific category, I'm going to search that category inside of Amazon bestsellers. Ence I find it, I can go and do my research and my analysis. And maybe, just maybe, like the Halloween dresses from Encanto are like going to be super popular for Halloween. I think they will. I'm just telling you right now. But if they're going to be super popular for Halloween, you can begin the process of sourcing for those dresses right now. Right now. So that you are not fighting to be able to find those dresses. I think that they're going to be popular for the next couple of years. But in any case, you can do that research now so that you're finding a product that is going to be moving. It's going to be selling like crazy. You kind of look at the numbers to see what the profit margins are. So what if you can get that particular dress for $10 and turn around and sell it for $35.99 or $40.99? You want to know that now. Start putting those listings up now so you can start meeting your target goals for daily sales and weekly sales. So this link will be in your eBay back office, and you'll be able to use that to your advantage. And the other thing, I do want to encourage you to use Amazon as a great free organic resource. Seriously, because there's a lot of information that comes up with Amazon, so that you can use that again to be your source for for your product research. Save you some money so you don't have to buy software to be able to do that. So eBay does have a list of restricted categories and products. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Should open a new window. Yeah, there you go. So these are all the eBay categories. Okay. And you can figure out whatever products you decide to sell, where they're going to fit, and whether or not it is actually a restricted category. That's still entirely possible. Okay. Oops. So then if I go to restricted, didn't mean to do that. So I can go to restricted prohibited items, and I can go through this because you don't want to sell any of these products on eBay. You don't want to get yourself in trouble at all. So come and look at this. There's also a restricted brands, and we'll share these into your back office where brands are like, you can't sell it. Like Velcro is one of them. They have a whole trademark and copyright infringement on there. So you can't put the word Velcro in your eBay listings. It's crazy. Restricted brands. So let me just see. There's finding it immediately. I think it's Vero. Pretty sure. There you go. Oh, it's called Vero and listing policy. So these are the list, and we'll make sure that we have this available to you as well. So you can come back and look at it and learn which products that you can't list. eBay will immediately remove them. So I just want you, it's sort of like, if you think about it like Amazon, it's restricted brands. You can't jump onto the listing because they don't want other sellers on the listing. So that's entirely possible within eBay, that is something that you might run into. So we're going to make a note, and we'll give you the hyperlinks to these for the restricted categories, the prohibited or restricted products, and then the Vero. That is so important. Let me go ahead and escape here. And that. Escape. All right. I'm going to put this in here real quick so I don't miss it for next time. That you'll have it as well. So I can have the VA put that in the back office. So you can just go straight to that, and it's going to give you the information you need. Okay. Nope, I don't want that one. All right, so we're going to move on. Let's see. Here we go. It's going to add that real quick. And so then that way it's always there, and the VA can come back and make sure that she grabs that. Okay, so you have restricted brands, you have restricted categories, you have in this journey on eBay, you have to know what your goal numbers are. And I'm going to, let me just do this real quick. I do want you to know a couple of things. So the restricted categories, restricted, prohibited. This is the prohibited list. And again, you got policies around everything on the prohibited list. Up here, when I talked about establishing your goals and knowing, so there's some sales rank stuff that might be helpful from an Amazon standpoint, so that you know that this item is moving like crazy on Amazon. If the sales rank on it is low, if the sales rank on it is high, then it's not moving as fast. That doesn't mean that it won't become popular later on. It just means right now it's not moving as fast. So the lower the number, the faster the item is selling. So if it's selling like hotcakes on Amazon, you got to know it will sell on eBay. Then we've got show your numbers. So this is a spreadsheet that I created a very long time ago that talks about what your average profit has to be on Amazon or eBay. And it gives you the opportunity to plug and play some numbers. So there's already a formula. And so we skipped, for whatever reason, 10,000. We went straight from 9,000 to 3,000. So I guess every 3,000, every 3,000 in monthly goals, monthly sales, that is the gauge that we're using for this. And again, it's telling you what you need to get in sales. So I would encourage you, the first thing, of course, is to get faster at creating listings. Improve your listing speed and listing accuracy, and take advantage of the keyword research that we suggest that you can incorporate into your listing so you can get some organic views and list every single day for sure. All right, so I wanted to make sure I gave you a couple of those links that you can look at. I don't think there's another link. Right. Since I was already here. Okay, customer service. Customer service can be a bit tricky. The platforms have evolved over the last couple of years. And sometimes they're customer focused, and sometimes they claim to be seller focused. And all of it is just really frustrating because sometimes there's decisions that are made that impact you. So you need to be able to persevere through it. Right now, if a customer files a complaint, eBay will allow you, or wants a refund, or whatever it happens to be, eBay will allow you a certain amount of time to respond. And then if you don't respond in that time frame, it may be resolved in the buyer's favor versus the seller's. So try to have your information pulled together so that way, if you start to get claims, you have access to it. You're checking your sales every single day. You're validating that you did ship out an item. All of that stuff is going to be extremely important in order for you not to have any challenges if someone files a claim. So, how to minimize complaints and returns? Consider not selling frequently returned items. Yeah. Or items with a low rating. If you go over to AliExpress and you see a bunch of products that maybe are selling like hotcakes right now, but they all got 1 stars, I'm not going to put my account in jeopardy because I sell a bunch of trash and then I have a bunch of returns and then I got to deal with eBay shutting down my account. So don't put yourself in that position. Make sure all the information in the listing is accurate for sure. That is going to help you make sure that you win your disputes, if you have them, with customers who want to return or whatever, or refund. It will help you in resolving those quickly. When selling used products, make sure the product is properly working and that you have all the necessary parts and pieces. There's going to be times that you find stuff at the thrift store. There's going to be times that you find stuff at other stores, garage sales, whatever. And before you relist it onto eBay, make sure you go through and make sure this thing works. I think like we will go out sometimes, depends on what it is. And we will actually buy the replacement parts. We buy the replacement batteries for some watches if we're selling watches, because we don't want them to come back and say, well, this doesn't work. We also make sure that in the listings, we indicate that battery may be required. So that, again, is another thing that we do that is specific to to us. So do what you can to make sure that whatever the product is that you're selling, that it is working as expected. When creating a listing, make sure to include several pictures. This is one of the things that I see happen all the time. Someone would create a listing and then they only have like 2 pictures up. I'm like, you at least need to have 4 or 6 or 8. Like, you need to try. And you need to name those image files so that way your listing can come up in the organic search. The next one is package products very carefully. When you ship them to the customer, sometimes they're fragile. That's extremely important. You don't want broken stuff to show up at your customer's house. Then you're going to get an potentially immediate bad review, even though it may have been the UPS guy kicking the box around just like Ace Ventura. So anything is possible. Next one is, when possible, send personal communication to your customer every step of this process. This has been a saving grace. There are times when a listing is just not being released. You're relying on Amazon to ship it. After about the 3rd day of it not moving, I'm going to go contact, I'm going to check to see what's happening with this particular, product. As far as the shipping is concerned. I'm going to go and see what's happening to see if there's a problem with FedEx or UPS, if there's a problem with whoever you're shipping it through. I'm also going to make sure I put a fragile if it's fragile. I don't sell fragile stuff because, again, that return factor is such a big deal. I'm going to make sure that there's a fragile sticker on the outside of the box. So, again, Do your follow-up to make sure that the product gets to the customer. You can send a thank you message after it's been sent, so that way you can get some feedback from the customer, which is going to help you long term as an eBay seller. And monitor where your package is in the journey. Give your customer periodic updates. That's going to help you make you look like the good guy. Because again, you can't control what FedEx, UPS, DHL, all those do. You can't. There's nothing about that. So sending them a message to say, hey, we've packaged up your item and we've sent it on to UPS. Okay, hey, it got checked in at UPS. We just wanted to let you know that it's on its way. Hey, we can see that it's arrived in your city, and we just wanted to let you know that we're glad that the product is almost to you. Please feel free to share feedback as soon as you get it. Then once it's received, again, you get these email. You can set up email notifications. You can say, hey, we see that the item's been received. We hope that you enjoy our product. Please take advantage of this 10% off from being a valued customer, and then that way you're continuing to foster that relationship in the midst of something maybe taking longer to be shipped. Because again, that's something that's completely outside of your control. When possible, send a personal communication. Yep, every step of the way. And then let me just clear this out. Never ship a product to an alternate address. Please don't do that ever. I don't care how many communications you get from this customer. Don't do that. Please don't. That's how you get scammed, that they will buy the item and then the default address and where it's supposed to be shipped shows up. And then you get an email from the customer saying, hey, can you ship that to a different address? Then you're going to have to deal with that. The next one is how to handle returns. So never communicate with the customer outside of eBay for sure. Save yourself the stress and the hassle of that. Always try to make sure that there is a trail of breadcrumbs. They can go back to your message log. They can go back to your email history as a seller and see that you've been communicating and interacting with this particular customer. And if the customer ghosts you, say, okay, we were communicating for 3 days and then they didn't respond to anything else, but they're demanding a refund. Hopefully eBay is going to say, hey, I need you to respond back to the seller so that way, so they can help potentially intervene, maybe not. Keep records of the return notification email from eBay and Amazon so you can respond back to them. If the product was not returned to Amazon and you have to figure out what your number is, you can just say, we're not going to replace it. We're going to say goodbye. Okay. If the product is returned, so if it's not returned within the 45-day limit, or if it's not returned within the 30-day limit, they're going to, if they request a refund, and be like, okay, I need the item first. I will issue you a refund. I'll even do a partial refund. I need the item back first. And if it's not back, you can say, okay, open up a ticket with eBay and say, I need to file a claim against this buyer because I asked them for the product back and they didn't send it to me. Okay. And I've been asking and asking. They can go into your account and see that you've been communicating or had been until the buyer ghosted you. So be prepared for that. The other thing is to feel free to reach out to the buyer to see if there's anything they want to share about the return, if you don't already know. And then always inspect returned items, because I have such a crazy story. My brother was selling a Roomba. It's a true story, guys. My brother was selling a Roomba and he had a return from another country. I want to say it was Australia, but I have no idea. And so he was supposed to get the product back. Well, he got the product back and he issued the refund, but he never opened the box. So when he finally got around to opening the box, anywhere from 6 months to a year later, which, okay, I understand, he ended up, of course, losing. If he couldn't go back and fight the fact that the customer had sent cans. They sent cans of corn in the box. It was the Roomba box. but didn't really return the Roomba. He didn't even open it for almost 6 months. So his ability to file a claim against that buyer, I mean, he could still do it, but to get his money back, he's going to have to really, really fight to get his money back because he already issued the refund. So make sure you pay attention to that. Open it up, see if that thing that you sent them is actually the thing that they received and is sending back to you before you issue the refund. That's just my position. The next one is request feedback and handle how to request feedback and handle negative feedback. You can ask the person for feedback. A lot of people, when they sell on eBay, they'll put a little postcard in there or put a little note card that says, "Thank you for your purchase. If at any time you have any problems with this particular product, please contact me directly," or something to that effect, and let me know so I have an opportunity to address it before you contact eBay. Because again, people are just trying to salvage their own business, keep their own business going. If you receive negative feedback, you can contact Amazon or eBay. Now, some platforms, uh, they don't allow negative feedback. Like, oh, you can get this at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. That's not telling me what's wrong with the product. That's not telling me that I didn't receive the product. So things like that, you can potentially ask the platform to remove those kinds of comments so that way you have the opportunity to continue to build your empire, build your business, and minimize as much of the negative feedback as possible. All right. And the next thing, I don't know what happened there. Just see. It really is a blank sheet. I don't know what happened. That's weird. Okay. All right. The next thing is Keepa. Keepa is a great tool that you can use to actually help you see what's happening as far as your historical sales on this particular product. And you actually have the ability to use Keepa not only on Amazon, but you can use it on eBay as well. There's a couple of YouTube videos out there on how to use it on eBay. Most people started with it on eBay, and then some have, over the last 6 months, gone back to it as wow. So so yeah, just go. You can go check and see if the item is selling on eBay. Yeah, gone back to it to go see what the sales is now versus what the sales were, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 12 months ago. So do that with your use Keepa to help you to see what the historical data is on that particular listing and what is happening with the listing, how it's been moving. You can, again, you also have some information inside of eBay. And you can also use watch count to some extent, but Keepa is going to give you that statistical data about the pricing and all that other stuff that's going to help you. So that way, if you want to go back and source some more of this particular product, it's selling like crazy, you can say, hey, I'm expecting a spike, so I should probably go order some right now. So I would encourage you to grab the Keepa account and use that to your advantage. In addition to that, what is up here? I can't see up here. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I think this was something that Norman had, so let me just check this. Oh, he's talking about Chrome extensions. So there's a couple of different Chrome extensions that we recommend. GS Quick View. I feel like this Chrome extension, I mean, it's still alive and it's still available. It's going to give you some information over to the side. Hold on just a second. There we go. Keepa. I knew that we had some information. Sorry, guys. Right. Couldn't figure out what was happening there. So with Keepa, I'm going to go back to Keepa for just a second. With Keepa, there is a price. You can pay the one-time price for the year. It's great. So you'll be able to access a couple of different things. You can look at eBay price history. Okay. That's one of the best things in the world. So you can see what this thing has been selling for and when you'll be able to raise the price on it. That's going to help you. So looking at being able to look at the price history is definitely a helpful thing. You can look at some of the sales ranks. So again, anytime anything is selling like hotcakes on Amazon, it will eventually start to sell like hotcakes on eBay for sure. Right. So consider getting the eBay, start getting the Keepa graph. Now this should be Chrome extensions, and I think that it is. So let me just double check. Yeah, additional free resources. So Chrome extensions. So I mentioned DS Quick View. Again, that happens to be for Amazon. But again, if it's moving like crazy on Amazon, it will be moving like crazy on eBay as well. eBay gets about 1/6, depending on the category, of the sales that Amazon gets. One out of every 6 sales that Amazon gets, eBay gets a sale. And it may have changed it 1 out of every 8 or 1 out of every 10 because Walmart has kind of mixed it up for them as well. But eBay is still a viable platform to sell on. It's also a great platform for those who are, you know, looking to get rid of things that they've had around the house, looking to make a little bit of extra money, looking to not have to deal with uh, Amazon's ever-changing landscape. eBay has ever-changing landscape as well, but it's not as drastic sometimes as Amazon. So it's a great platform to sell on, a great platform to make some extra money. You can use some Chrome extensions to compare to Amazon, and then again, maybe be the first seller on eBay to sell that particular product because you're using Amazon to do your product research. So take advantage of that. All right. So we have going to be a lot of different Chrome extensions and also websites. So this particular website is Slick Deals, which is another platform that you can get some additional information and do use in your product research, depending on what the product is that you're selling. So this gives you insight into, I believe Slick Deals is selling some stuff. And so another Chrome extension by the name of ClearPro picked it up, so that's an opportunity for you to potentially do some retail or online arbitrage if they are selling it at that on that platform. So listing optimization, one of my favorite things when it comes to listing on any platform, including eBay. The first thing I want to say is your title. In your title, the first 5 words need to be the thing that it is or are the most important words. Some would argue it's the first 5 to 7. So, if you go all the way to 7, that's fine. But it needs to indicate what it is and why it's so important. So I'm going to give you an example of a Remington ceramic flat iron. So if most people are searching by ceramic flat iron or flat iron ceramic, they don't care if it's a Remington. So sometimes people include the brand names in the titles because those are brands that people care about. And others, people care about the fact that it's a ceramic flat iron. And I don't care who sells a flat iron for your hair, curling iron, whatever. That may be the thing that they really just care about, that they just want a flat iron. They want it to be ceramic and that's it. And they don't care that it's a Remington. So be mindful of that and, don't use extra words. If you're going to use extra words like Remington, put it at the end of the listing title and not at the beginning because you want the first 5 words to be the words that pop off the page for the other seller. Okay. You can get ideas from Title Builder. You can also use Terapeak, which I think we're going to go over that next class, I believe. All your images should be named and use long tail keywords. So again, you're using whatever it is, name it that. So a keyword is a singular word, whereas a long tail keyword is a group of words put together. Okay. So raincoat. Raincoat's probably a bad one. Trying to think of a good example of something that is multiple words. So 2022 planner is two different words. So because it's two different words, it would be considered a long tail keyword. Whereas planner by itself is a singular word, and that would be considered the keyword. So figure out what the keywords are in your listing, the most important keywords of either what this thing is or how people might be using it. Those words should be at the beginning of the listing, or they should be towards the beginning of the description of the listing if it can't be in the first 5 to 7 words of the listing. Okay. Renaming the images, taking clean images, extremely important. Conducting keyword research, absolutely important. Knowing what those keywords are to put in your listing matter. So don't copy another person's listing title. Don't do that. Don't use special characters. They're irrelevant. If you're going to sell multi-packs, use words like pieces, like PCS, or you can spell out pieces if you want to, if you have the space to be able to do that in the title, because you can see long titles on eBay, titles that are like 10 words, 12 words, all of that stuff. So, don't use special characters in there. Use real words. The first word should be capitalized in that title. That's true. And under 100 characters for the title. Make sure that you're doing social signals, sending out your listing or social sharing. Sending out your listing to once you create it on eBay, share it out to your Facebook fan page, share it out to your Instagram business page, share it out to, if you got a secondary profile, share it there, share it in groups, so that way you can start to get traffic to your listings. So share it out. Okay, then after that, when you're creating your descriptions, make sure you're using phrases and keywords are incorporated into the listing as well. And focus on the main keyword phrase. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is we're going to try to keep the bullet points under 100 characters. And for higher ticket items, it might help to include a video. You have the ability to upload a video on your eBay listing, so go take advantage of that. Keyword research is something that we should all strive to continually get better at. Make sure you're putting your listing in the right category of eBay. Okay. Also, take advantage of when eBay gives you like the free listing stuff. Like, take advantage of that. It's not always going to make a difference, but sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to see that sale came from some other source. Okay. Then after, let's see, so you're going to put it in the right category. After creating the listing, so I create the listing in incognito, and then I open it up I create the listing period. Then I open it up in multiple windows. That's going to tell, you're faking out the algorithm is what you're doing. That's going to tell eBay that this particular item is hot and that people are looking for it. So if you open up multiple windows and paste the URL or do a search for that particular product, and you do that on the first day, then that tells eBay that this is an important listing. That's a hat trick we've been using for years. It still works to this day. I can't believe it. So it's going to help your listing get ranked faster, and you're going to have lots more organic searches. Okay. And you could have an item that fits in multiple categories, so don't let that bother you. Now, we are going to talk about keyword research. One of my favorite things to do for keyword research is to use the existing search engines to type in the first couple of words of whatever it is I'm going to sell and let the default in the first 10 options what it thinks I want to sell or what it thinks this item is. So I think the other day I did some keyword research for a product. I think it was keto. Yeah. And I started typing in keto, and of course, ketogenic diet came up, keto diet came up, keto foods came up. These are all things that came up in the search engine. So if I am deciding that I'm going to sell products that are complementary or that support keto, I'm going to go after all those phrases that came up by default and put them somewhere in my listing. Now, I'm not trying to keyword load it, but I am indicating, or I am aware of the fact that it's an important item. So again, you can use that hat trick to help you to be able to go find what are all the search words that people are using to look for this thing. So I'll do that now. The other one is the one that's missing here is keywords everywhere. I encourage everybody to get a keywords everywhere account because $10. That's the one thing I'm like, okay, maybe you're not in a profit yet, but go ahead and grid that. So everywhere. So keywords everywhere. A great tool to be able to use. So let me go ahead and open up eBay. And I'm going to type in keto, then I stop. So if I'm selling products that, again, support the keto diet, there is Keto Chow, Keto Snacks, Keto Max, Keto Prime, Keto Advanced Weight Loss, Keto Coffee, Keto Diet Pills. Use this to help you. You can also do this on, let me go to Google. If I start with keto, again, you'll see some of the details or some of the things that will default. These are the top 10 searches. If I go to Amazon, it cleared my cache first, but anyway, I start typing in keto. But again, people are looking for this keto pills, keto prime, keto snacks. So keto snacks, the keto food, keto bars, keto chow. All of those are popular words. And so if I decide I'm going to sell some snack foods, and you can sell snack foods on eBay, I might sell, I don't know about diet pills, because again, make sure you have your business insurance. But some of the others, keto coffee, I think that is unique, and I would definitely consider selling that. And you might also put that on Amazon as well. So look for opportunities when you're actually using the search engine as your beginning research place. Okay. All right, Pingler and Ping Farm, probably should have scrolled up and put that up higher, but up near the Chrome extensions. But Pingler and Ping Farm are great tools once you create your listings to push your listings through, making sure that you're creating backlinks to your listing. This is stuff that happens automatically when you take your URL listing on eBay and you put it into the box for Pingler and you send it off. It's going to create indexes. So I would do this activity after I've opened up this new listing in like 8 different windows, maybe 10 different windows. I would come back, and the next step I would do is run it through Pingler and Ping Farm. That would be the secondary step. That again is going to help your listing come up more frequently based on what are the search terms and keywords that you put into your listing. So with that being said, that is it for today. I hope this information is helpful. When you go through, I would rewatch this. There's a couple of little hiccups in here in the middle. So I apologize for that. But in any case, go back and rewatch and figure out what your strategy is going to be on how many listings you want to target every single day. Okay, so put together a game plan for the number of listings you're going to target every single day to create. Put together your game plan on how many products you want to be able to sell every single day. So realistically, if you're a person that it's taking you an hour just to create one listing, increasing that to 50 listings a day, you don't have 50 hours in the day if it's taking you 1 hour. So you got to figure out how to streamline that, make it go faster so you can create more listings. That may be getting tools, but you got to be profitable first. So begin the process of figuring out what are the things that people are looking for. Use watch count as one of your sources. Go see what's on the cover pages for Walmart.com, Target.com, Amazon.com. What are the products that they're showcasing? That can help you be able to, find some products that are potentially going to be moving because they're already, advertising them on those other platforms. And so you can use the research that they've already done as a great source for you. Figure out what your strategy is around, products that you are going to be sourcing long-term, bigger picture. Establishing some wholesale accounts is probably a good thing. Figuring out where you can get items at a discounted rate or a low cost if you don't have a lot of money. So, you might set aside as your starting point $25, $50, or $100 as your starting point to acquire inventory, or you could go for the free method and connect with family and friends and ask them to give you some inventory. But I need you to start listing. You got to start being consistent about listing, and you have to be intentional about that listing. So let's start that process. And then once you start that process, then you can begin to start working towards your daily goal of getting X number of sales every day. Okay. So we got to get started listing. We got to get listing consistently. And then we got to get so many listings up every single day with a certain profit margin over time. That's a gradual progression to get to that next stage. And then, and then the stage after that, which is sustaining that, rinsing and repeating every single day. So you got to make time in your schedule for listing. Make time in your schedule for listing. Okay. With that, I am going to say goodbye for now. We'll see you guys next week. And thanks for coming to today's session. This is the eCom Sellers Mastery eBay Road to 10K Mastery class. So we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Next session.